Hey there, hey there, hey there. Are we having fun yet watching Cardinals baseball? I'm Bernie Miklasz, and welcome to The Bernie Show, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I hope you're all having a good Thursday as you watch this. I hope it's been a fabulous day for you. Well, we're going to talk Cardinals, as you might imagine. They're having a heck of a road trip. It's been a really good tour of the East Coast. Cardinals been rolling in that I-95 corridor, taken 5 out of 6 games in their visits to Washington and Philadelphia. The one loss was just by a single run, and the Cardinals outscored the Nationals and the Phillies over the 6 games by a combined 38-14. A plus 24 run differential in 6 games. Oh, I would say that's really, really, really good. The Cardinals' recent run of success has cut into the Cubs' lead in the NL Central. You know, the Cardinals only trail the Cubs by just 1 game. Now, I know it's a long way to go. Okay. I don't know how many times we all have to say it. We all know it's a long way to go. But just a little dose of perspective about just how sudden this thing turned around for the Cardinals. So remember something, because I looked it up today just to make sure. The Cardinals were 6 games behind the Cubs as recently as May the 2nd. And at that point, I checked on Fangraphs and their playoff odds. At that point, after losing on May the 2nd, the Cardinals' chance of winning the division was only 6%. Well, as of this morning, after splitting the doubleheader in Philly to increase their record to 5-1 on the road, as of this morning, the Cardinals have a 24.6% shot of winning the division. Well, this tells us 2 things. Number one, the Cardinals have made real progress. There's no question about it. And I happen to think, I've come around to think, that they are a better team than many people probably think they are. And number 2, the Cardinals still have a lot of work to do because, their playoff odds, just for, taking the temperature of the season and all that, their playoff odds have really jumped up, but they're still less than 25%. They got a lot of work to do, and that challenge begins this weekend with a 3-game series at Kansas City, which will complete the 3-city, 9-game, 10-day road trip. Hey, no matter what happens against the 25-20 Royals over in KC, the Cardinals are already assured of a winning road trip. So, obviously you want to see them build on the success that we saw in Washington and Philly. So the goal for the Cardinals, the goal for any team, is to win the series. And the Cardinals will be trying to take the weekend set from the Royals and keep adding wins. And for whatever it's worth, the Royals have kind of cooled down here in the last week or so. But I think these games are fun. The Cardinals, by the way, haven't lost a series since dropping 2 of 3 to the Atlanta Braves on the road. As we probably remember, even though we'd probably want to forget it, the Cardinals could have won that series. It was 1-1 after 2 games. But they lost a lead, and they lost the final game 4-1 after the bullpen failed to protect a real tight lead. That happened back on April the 23rd, that game. And the Cardinals came home, and they had a scheduled day off to recover. At that point, now this is really important to kind of digest this. At that point on the season, the Cardinals were 10-15 when they left Atlanta. They had the same record on that day, the same exact 10-15 record as the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the only National League team with a worse record than the Cardinals at that time was Colorado. I mean, you talk about how suddenly things have changed. As they left Georgia after that gloomy loss, the Cardinals had a .400 winning percentage. That ranked tied for 25th among the 30 teams. Once again, my goodness, how things have turned around, and it's happened in pretty short time. I ain't going to lie. Thinking back of what we felt like, what it looked like when the Cardinals lost that game in Atlanta, that was awful. Ryan Fernandez served up a 3-run bomb, and they made the smart move after that to like get him out of here and have him go to Memphis and regroup. And it, as I keep telling everyone, that was the turning point of the season. But at the moment they lost that Atlanta game and they're 10-15 and they're hanging out with the Pirates in terms of record, the situation was bad. I ain't gonna lie. I had a bad feeling about this team. I think most people did. The bullpen was just absolutely awful. The Cardinals kept squandering leads and losing close games. They were at that point 0-5 in one-run games. And it was, while it's true, it was way too early to give up on this team in the season. But my confidence level in the Cardinals was way down. I see no reason to be a phony and try to indicate, oh, I still very much believed in that. No, I didn't. I don't think many people did. Now, some people claim that they do. And a lot of times the people that will claim that, well, I never lost faith. They're the people that think, Cardinals are going to win 100 games every year or whatever. And I'm exaggerating. Never mind. I don't need to be so snarky. Forgive me. Since returning from their day off after the debacle in Atlanta, the Cardinals have won 14 of their last 19 games. And that is the best record in the National League since April the 25th. So let's recap. When they left Atlanta, they were tied for 13th. Yeah, tied for 13th in the National League in record. Now, 19 games later, they had the number one record in the NL since April the 25th, the first game played after they left Atlanta. And I don't think it's a fluke either. I really, really don't think it's a fluke. Since losing 15 of the first 25 games of the season, the Cardinals have rallied themselves and each other. They haven't lost a series since falling to the Braves. In their last 6 series, the Cardinals are 5-0 with one split. They won series from the Brewers, Mets, Pirates, Nationals, Phillies, and they split a 4-gamer in Cincinnati. See, their 14-5 record since April 25th is well earned. I'm not going to sit here and belittle something, find stuff to fuss about and to kind of chop and carve up that record. I happen to appreciate when a team is successful. I don't spend a lot of time looking to pick nits, okay? The Cardinals, think about this stretch of 14-5. The Cardinals had to navigate their way through 3 doubleheaders since April 30th. And they went 5 in those 3 doubleheaders. 6 games total. The Cardinals went 5-1. They punched the Reds out to take both ends of a doubleheader at Great American Ballpark back on April 30th. They came back to Busch Stadium. The Cardinals won a doubleheader from the Mets by emerging with 2 one-run wins, and they split yesterday's doubleheader in Philadelphia. But the way they split the doubleheader, it feels like a big-time victory. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. During their 14-5 run, the Cardinals have won games started by Paul Skeens, Brady Singer, Tyler McGill, Mitch Keller, Mitchell Parker, Mackenzie Gore, Christopher Sanchez, and Aaron Nola. I should say, yeah, that's right. That's right. Christopher Sanchez. I was getting my Phillies left-handers mixed up there for a second. In their 14 wins since April 25th, the Cardinals have won. This is what I love this stat. In their 14 wins since April 25th, the Cardinals have won 6 of the games by 1 run, but they won 6 other times by routing opponents by a margin of 5 runs or more. I mean, you got to like a team that can win the close ones, right? Can win those 1-run games, but they're also many other times, blowing the other side out. And that's what we've seen during this 19-game sequence that's turned their season around. During this time, you don't need me to tell you, the Cardinals ripped their way through a 9-game winning streak, and they pull into their Thursday rest stop with a 10-1 record in their last 11 games. Is that good enough? I think it is. Are we happy? I'm happy. After a quick timeout, I'll tell you why I'm happy and why specifically I like this team so much. But it's time for me to tell you about DraftKings and their daily Pick 6 challenge. The Major League regular season about 25% in now, And by this time, we have a better understanding of the teams and the players that we're watching in MLB. So if you think you know Major League Baseball, and in St. Louis, we certainly know Major League Baseball, or this applies to any other sport you prefer, then put your knowledge to use. Put it to work for you. Go win some big cash as part of DraftKings Pick Six. What you do in this game is you focus on the player stats. You select anywhere from 2 to 6 players. You choose whether the individual player will go higher or lower on a specific statistical set for his next game set by DraftKings. Yeah, it's that simple, and it's a lot of fun. There's so many good options to choose from when you select your Pick Six players and you take your best shot at pulling in that cash money. Pick Six is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and others. You'll enjoy tracking your selected players while the games are in progress, but what you'll really enjoy is winning, and you can do that at DraftKings. It's very easy to get started. Just download the DraftKings app. Takes no time. Open an account, then choose your sport and pick your players and get busy. Go for it. New players at DraftKings get $50 in Pick Six credits instantly with just a $5 entry. Very good. Very nice. So download the DraftKings Pick Six app now. Do it and use the code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick Six credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick Six from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick Six credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at picksix.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, let's get back to these very, very, very interesting Cardinals team. I think it is a team that's starting to catch people by surprise. I think it is a team that there's going to be a point in time, maybe even the national media will notice. Huh? You think? Maybe? I don't know. Let's get back to it anyway. I think the Cardinals are for real. That doesn't mean I'm sitting here and I'm pounding the table and I'm saying, well, you heard it from me first. They're going to win the NL Central. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is what has been on display during this major turnaround, none of this stuff is fluky. None of this stuff is fluky. That's my point. That's why I say they're for real. Among other items, and keep in mind when I talk about, we all talk about, the Cardinals' record against winning teams, that those numbers are always going to shift because it's based on teams that have a winning record right now on any given day. So the other day it was like 10-10, which was actually the sixth or seventh best I know it's in the top 10 record of as far as beating good teams. The Cardinals actually were in the top 10 in doing that as far as winning percentage against winning teams. But it does shift from day to day because some teams go from being a winning team, they lose, they're game over 500, they lose 2 in a row. Then all of a sudden they're not a winning team in terms of their record at that moment. So the Cardinals are now 11-8 this season against teams that have a winning record as of Thursday morning. And their .579 winning percentage against winning teams, I was surprised to see this, but it's true. All you got to do is look at Baseball Reference. You can find it in the standings page. The Cardinals' .579 winning percentage against winning teams is the second best in the majors, behind only the Mets. This is a true fact, okay? People can try to delegitimize the Cardinals if they want. That's fine. Do what you want. If you're one of those, it's a small percentage of fans who, can't quite embrace the Cardinals because you predicted that they would be the worst team like in the history of baseball or whatever, and you don't like being wrong. And I'm just kidding, okay? Like I said, you got to let me swing the elbows a little bit. It loosens me up. Anyway, there's a lot of good evidence that's starting to pile up that tells us the Cardinals are not some fluke. It's going to be up to them to sustain this. Of course, that applies to every team in every sport. A team that does well, starts poorly, starts to do well. I don't care what the team is. We can talk about the English Premier League. You got to prove it over time. So when we say that about the Cardinals, Uh, this ain't just a St. Louis thing. It's a universal thing when it comes to team sports. But if you look at the progress, the Cardinals were awful on the road. Remember how much I and most of us talked about that? I think they were 2-12 at one point, but that's changed. They're winning on the road now. The Cardinals, for a while, couldn't beat good teams. They got slapped around by the Red Sox, and the Mets tore them apart in that 4-game sweep at Citi Field. Cardinals couldn't beat good teams, except now they are beating good teams. The Cardinals couldn't win those one-run games, and now they're doing that. They're now 6-1 during this stretch. They're 6-1 in one-run decisions after starting out 0-5 in one-run decisions. The Cardinals had a horrific bullpen, so bad, but now, presto changeo, they have an outstanding bullpen that has the best ERA in the majors during their 14-5 stretch since April the 25th. The St. Louis rotation, and I know we all tend to think about the last thing we saw, and Sonny Gray was not good at all last night in game 2 of the doubleheader. But you gotta pan out and look at the bigger picture. The St. Louis rotation has settled in. After getting beat up in Boston in that early season series, the Cardinals have turned in the 5th best starting pitching ERA in the majors since April the 7th. The offense, well, here I go again, but I'm still puzzled by how many people, including the media, and most notably the media, because media should know more, right? But people still don't grasp how good this offense is. As of Thursday morning, the Cardinals ranked 7th in the majors in runs scored per game. That's good. They were 4th in batting average. That's really good. They were 3rd in on-base percentage. That's really, really good. They were 9th in slugging and 9th in OPS. Top 9 team, top 9 offense in all those categories. What the heck is there to complain about? Oh, I know what we can complain about. I'm going to get to it right now. Just by mentioning the Cardinals have put together a top 9 offensive performance despite getting very little from Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, despite having a really slow start from Alec Burleson, and despite not having Ivan Herrera for 30 games because of that knee injury. How special is Herrera? He's exciting to watch, man. So, what will it take for folks to realize that this is, at least so far, and the Cardinals are 44 games in, what's it going to take for people to realize, and I ain't talking about Cardinals fans necessarily, but I'm talking about, just in general, to realize that this is one of the better offensive clubs in the majors. Sure, the Cardinals have had some clunkers offensively, but what the heck? That's true of every single team. All these teams that have games where it's like, geez, did these people ever pick a bat up before? I don't know about you, but I truly enjoy watching these Cardinals play ball. I've come to really like this team a lot. Their energy level is high. They're hungry. Their competitive intensity is strong. Their resilience is admirable. They play hard. They have a lot of fun. They can beat you in different styles and different ways. I got a fly or something. A Bernie interruption, a Bernie disruption. There's some kind of fly buzzing around. Don't ask me. I don't think I left any food laying around here in my lair, the office, but I'll have to check after I stop recording. Anyway, let me get back to this. I don't know about you, but I truly enjoy watching these Cardinals play ball. Their energy level is really high. They're hungry. Their competitive intensity is strong. Their resilience is there, and it's admirable. They play hard, but they have a lot of fun. They can beat you in different styles and different ways. They play fundamentally sound baseball. They play with flair. That flair enhances their confidence, and there's no quit in these Cardinals. We saw that again Wednesday. That was a really tough opener in the doubleheader. Really tough afternoon game. Cardinals had a 1-0 lead before the Phillies rallied to a 2-1 win. Wasn't a good game by the Cardinals offense. And while Steven Matz took the loss in relief, I really can't be upset with him, but because he's done a terrific job. He ain't going to be perfect. And the Cardinals allowed only 2 runs in the game, and they should have won the game, but that's going to be difficult to do when your offense goes 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So it was a frustrating loss because of the St. Louis offense, but that loss didn't define the offense. That loss is just one of many losses that every team will have during the course of the season. So I'm not going to disparage that offense for getting shut down in this game, because I always try to keep in mind that the other team gets paid to play the game too, right? And a tip of the cap goes to the Phillies. They did have an outstanding pitching performance in game one. So how would the Cardinals respond after sputtering during the afternoon? How would they come out and handle this challenge of winning the series by splitting the doubleheader? A series win was on the line, and oh my, there was big time trouble early on. The Phillies opened a 5-1 lead in the first inning, and once again, I ain't going to lie, I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, well, it's still been a decent road trip. It's good. Phillies are good. If you lose 2 to the Phillies, at least you got a game here. But the Cardinals weren't discouraged. They didn't have any thoughts like that in their heads. They were determined. They were relentless, and they kept landing blows, punch after punch after punch on Philly starter Aaron Nola. And after trailing by 4 runs, the Redbirds outscored the Phillies 13-2 the rest of the way, and they stomped their way to a 14-7 triumph. The Cardinals delivered a season-high 19 hits. They got home runs from Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson, and Mason Wynn. 6 Cardinals had at least 1 RBI in that game. 9 Cardinals scored at least 1 run. Burleson had 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 2-out RBIs in the nightcap. And the St. Louis bullpen took care of the rest. They had Sonny Grace back after his bad start. Relievers John King, Chris Roycroft, Jojo Romero, Phil Maton, and Matt Swanson combined for 5 1/3 innings of scoreless relief. So the bullpen, through the first 6 games of a 9-game road trip, the bullpen has a 1.08 ERA against the Nationals and the Phillies on this trip. Listen, manager Ollie Marmol and his coaching staff, which is a really good coaching staff. I'll probably talk about this tomorrow. They have a nice thing going. They're cultivating some really good things. We're seeing a winning culture take shape. We're seeing a smarter team. We're seeing an offense that takes a lot of walks and is cut way down on strikeouts. The Cardinals have, 118 games to go on the schedule. But as we sit here on this Thursday morning, all I'm trying to say is I love watching this team, and it's a good time to be a Cardinals fan. On this day, it's a very good time to be a Cardinals fan. So thanks for watching The Bernie Show and for reading my columns here at sportshubstl.com. Don't forget that there's a podcast version of these videos. Also, you can access them at Spotify or Apple. I also, as we say goodbye, want to thank once again DraftKings for their support of The Bernie Show here at sportshubstl.com. Once again, have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.